Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK.
And I'm Courtney.
And Courtney, how are you?
Hmm. I'm okay. Oh my gosh, no.
Your microphone just went out.
I'm not okay. Nothing's okay.
You're good.
Um,
You're good. It's
can you hear
back.
me
It's
again?
back.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Everything is okay. Um, I just realized that as we were like, do you have a quote? Do you have this? I forgot to decide what I was going to talk about. So, I don't know. It's been 3 weeks. I just got back in town because, um, I don't know, for those of you that follow Rachel's pregnancy journey. She has like a month and a half left before baby. So we went to nope, that's not how time works. 2 months. She's got 2 months left in end of May. So we went back
Yes.
home to Monroe and had a baby shower this weekend. And it was really fun. I went and like stayed with my parents and I finally got crawfish, which I've been trying to get for what feels like years. Um, so I finally had crawfish and it was amazing. And then we got and went to Rachel's shower, which was really beautiful. Her stepmom and stepsister put it on and it was really fun. She had a really good turnout and she looked great. She's super pregnant, which is fun. So I like that. And then my mom had this like gift card from work for Outback. So we had Outback and now I have a gift card of remaining balance to Outback. um, for like $30. And I realized they do their
Nice.
Walkabout Wednesdays again. Have you ever done? Are you familiar?
Yes.
Oh God, love a Walkabout Wednesday. I do not know. I think it was roughly the same price. I don't think it's $10 anymore. I think it's like 12 or $13. But it's
Mm,
like steak and potato and a beer, so like it's worth it.
right.
Um, so I did that, and then my friend Zach came. He drove me back down because he had to fly to Philly for work, and then he'll stay this week, and we have a lot of fun plans when he's back. We're gonna do like a game night and like a ghost tour and stuff. So just been kind of like vibing. Happy to be
Nice.
home. I haven't stopped. Like we got in at like 7 last night and went to Cafe de Mom. And then we like got to my house. I took Sadie out and then we left and went to dinner. And then came back and watched a movie. And then this morning I got up and dropped him at the airport and went to work. And now I'm here. So I haven't really like recovered from life.
No.
Um,
Mm.
but I am here. And I do think I slept better last night than I have been, even though it did take me 7 years to fall asleep. Oh, because this is what I meant to tell you about. I have just rambled. So I do sincerely apologize to our listeners. We haven't done this in 7 years, if you didn't notice. So I forgot how to talk about things I've done in my life. So you know Libby.
Yeah.
So I love Libby. For those of you who don't know, it is the library app that's like paired with like Overdrive. I was like, what is the other one? With like Overdrive, and you can get ebooks and audiobooks and stuff checked out from your
Mhm.
library. So I have the New York Library on it. I have the Jeff Parrish Library on it, which is like Metairie. It's like neighborhood. And then but there was a book that I wanted from club, and I was like, I can't find it to save my life. I was like, I am not about to spend $13 on a Kindle book. I will
Mm.
drive to Barnes and Noble and spend the 13. It's like $13 at Barnes and Noble too. I was like,
Yeah.
I will drive to Barnes and Noble
Correct.
someday. I don't
Yeah,
know
for
when that's
sure.
time. But alas, instead of just saying, I'll drive to Barnes and Noble one day this week, spend $13 and come back home, I decided to stay up until 2 a.m. and figure out how to get on different libraries at Libby. So,
Listen,
um,
I'm gonna need your magic because I can't. I got a New York City Public Library card and I cannot get it to attach to my Libby. It will not accept that I have a New York City Public Library card.
So they were supposed to kick me off and they tried, but it's still there. So I will see what I can do. But
Ugh.
like I got mine in person, obviously,
Mm.
but I didn't
Yeah.
have any proof of address yet because I just moved in.
Mm.
And they were like, come back in like within the next couple of weeks or whatever and bring us proof of address and we'll make it like full library
Yeah.
card. And that was 4 years ago. And I did
Great.
not go back. So I started Redditing because that's where you start when you're spiraling.
Oh,
Um,
I have a story about Redditing saving my life.
excellent. So I was spiraling down Reddit and I was like, what library? Because I remembered a lot of them allowed non-residents during COVID. I was like, are there any that still do that? So a lot of them still do it, but they charge you for it now. And I was like,
Right.
I'm not paying for that when I could literally just go to Barnes and Noble one day. Like,
Right.
I'm not about to pay for a library book. Um, because it's also not going to the author. And like, it's fine to support libraries, but I would want to support my library, not your library.
Right.
Um,
For sure.
and so I was like, not worth it. I'm going to keep going. So I keep looking. I learn you can sign up for a library card with Australia's library. This is step one. Super free, open to non-residents, no restrictions. You don't even have to live in the neighborhood. Added to Libby super quick, super painless. Did that. So now I have Australia on my Libby. However, it didn't have the book I wanted still.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, fine, 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 fine. They have one for Japan, but I was like, I'm getting crazy. I don't think I'm going to do
Right.
that yet. So I dialed it back again. And so then I was looking to see, because this is now at 2 a.m. is when I looked to see if my neighborhood library was one I could sign up with online. It's not. So I didn't waste all this time because St. Charles Parish, you have to go in person to do it, which is fine. I can go. It's literally a 3-minute drive for me. I could do it. I just haven't. Um, but then I went to the New Orleans one. So this is last stop. I've gone to the New Orleans main library. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be only Orleans Parish and Jeff Parish, which I am not. But I signed up with my address to see what happened, and it let me in.
Okay.
Um, and that's where my book was that I was looking for in ebook form. Why? Why, pray tell, did I spend 2 hours on Reddit, sign up with Australia, almost sign up with Japan, get mad at New York, to just circle back around and sign up with New Orleans Public Library to find the book I was looking for all along? It's just one of
Wait,
those
how did you sign up for the National Library of Australia?
no, not the National Library of Australia. It's just no, let me tell you the name of it. Hold on.
Because I just tried and it was like, I live in Australia. And I was like, no, I don't.
No. This one's not the same.
Um,
Um it's where do I go to find that? Where are my cards? This one. This one. Sunshine Coast Libraries.
okay.
I do not know how how many things they have, but like they have like Debbie Macomber and Danielle Steele, Linda Howard. I mean, it's people I've heard of that are on here, so it's not like just hidden books. Like
Yeah.
it's regular books that people
Oh,
talk
no, I
about.
know. I saw as soon as I opened the website, Onyx Storm was right on the front cover of the website.
Yeah, and it's available to rent right now to borrow if you are looking for somewhere to borrow it. Because it's on hold really far at a lot of places.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but so that was my spiral into insanity that I didn't need to do to get the book I wanted that was down the road.
This is fantastic. Sorry, I'm signing
Yeah,
up for a new library card while we do this.
amazing.
I
Don't you love it?
love
So
it.
how are you now that I've ruined you? How are you?
You know, so like Courtney said, it's been 155 years since we
Mhm.
recorded an episode of a podcast, and that is almost entirely my fault. Um, I somehow like don't think when I agree to things, and I took that new library card. I um signed up to work with dance school on their musical. And so then I was in tech for 100,000 years. Um, so then obviously I did not have time to record because I was at rehearsal till 11 o'clock at night every night. Like a psycho because this is why I don't do theater anymore for real. Um, but it was phenomenal. We did Jesus Christ Superstar, and the kids were
Which is so fun.
amazing. I can't wait until the high school theater awards because after all of the drama from the high school theater awards last year,
Yeah, yeah.
um, they were like, no, 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 everybody's eligible for all the awards. And then like on the like day where the people had to like go and get their information packets and talk about everything when they signed up for the awards, they were like, oh yeah, well, you're eligible for all of them except like the big one. You
The
can't win
big
that.
one.
You can't
Yeah.
win that twice. And we were like, that's like fine, but you didn't tell us that. And we picked like the best show. But then also all of the judges who came and saw the show were like floored. Listen, we crucified Jesus on stage. And it was like legitimately intense. Like people had to leave the theater.
Oh my gosh.
I cried. The first time I saw it, I literally just like was, and that was before we had lights. Like, so I'm really curious to see how they're gonna get away with not like who they're gonna possibly try to give the award to ahead of us.
That's not you. Yeah.
Like it's gonna be so funny. But so that was amazing. It was so much fun. I was very,
Love
very
that.
tired. And then I really
Yeah.
thought I was like ready and I was done. And I was like, okay, the show closes, everything's great. It'll be great. Next week we'll go back to normal. And then I got an email that was like, don't forget, you have a professional development course next week. And I was like, oh, fuck me, right? Um, so I've just been like super busy and like it hasn't been and it's just been like exhausting. Like fucking exhausting amounts of busy. Um and then like I like tried to like catch up on shit and finally after like 3 weeks had a date night with Dan where we went to see a children's movie in the theater because we're adults. Um, although honestly, let's be real, the Paddington movies are not for children. They're for adults who grew up loving Paddington. Like,
That does sound correct. I haven't seen them yet. That is my understanding
well,
also.
in the last 2 months, I've watched all three of them, and
I know.
they're my favorite thing in the entire world. Um, but yeah, so I'm glad to try to get back to normal. I also haven't like been at Shay's in weeks because of it. Like have like just lost all track of everything that is my
Being
normal like routines and
right.
stuff. Like didn't pick up my book for 2 weeks.
Your library book?
Yeah, like my Tower of Glass or my tower
Oh, like to read. I thought you meant go physically pick it up.
No, I like
I'm in the mindset that I have to go to the store and pick up a book right now. And I
No, I'm still doing the tandem read for the Throne of Glass books because I literally had 2.5 weeks where I could not even read a chapter because I was too tired. So I'm like just trying to like get back to normal. Decided to like melt my brain by trying to replay Hogwarts Legacy again because I have time for that. Just
I need to get back to that.
I forgot it. How the problem is I have a problem playing it again because like it's one of those things where it's like, oh wait, why can't I do that? Oh, because I didn't get that far in the game yet. Like I want to be able to like use skills that my character hasn't gotten yet. But mostly like I just already know the story, so it's not as exciting. But I love the gameplay of that game so much. I have not figured out what is another game that I would like actually enjoy as much as I enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
So
I still haven't finished it the first time through. Because life is a mess.
well, you should.
I know. It's on my list. It's on my desk.
So while we're trying to maintain some sense of normalcy, can you give me some inspiring words to make that happen?
Absolutely. If you have been brutally broken, but still have the courage to be gentle to other living beings, then you're a badass with a heart of an angel. Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. one of the kids on the show was like weirdly obsessed with Keanu Reeves, but like not in the like everyone's obsessed with him, like in the
Right.
started telling me all of the details about the motorcycle company that Keanu Reeves owns and the motorbikes that he sells. I'm like, and
I
I
didn't
was
even know that that was a thing.
yeah, no, me either until 2 weeks ago. But Keanu Reeves owns a motorbike company where he actually like designs the
Interesting.
motorcycles himself, like because of fucking course he does.
Yeah, why not?
There are three people in the world that if they do something, I surprise will absolutely never be my reaction. And all three of them are very different like categories of what how wild the things that they do are. And those three people are Keanu Reeves, Nick Cage, and Jared Leto. And
That is so true.
never
That is so
once has
true.
someone said, "Oh, Nick Cage did this thing," and I go, shock. I go,
Yeah,
checks out. Very if Keanu Reeves ever did any of the things Jared Leto did, I would be shocked. However,
right.
they're all people that are so unhinged in their own way that never once have I found out something that they've done and been shocked by
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
I did explain Jared Leto being in a cult to one of my coworkers the other day, and she had never heard this, and I showed her the pictures, and she was like, "God damn it."
That's one of my favorite
It's my favorite thing to
things.
spoil for people.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm still shocked by how many people don't know
don't
it still.
know. Yes.
That's what always gets me because I always say it casually because it just
Yeah.
feels like everyone knows it. And they're
Everyone
like,
knows at this point, but then they don't. And then you're like, oh, what would you like to
right.
know? I like feel like I'm like the Jehovah's Witness slash Mormon like preacher of can't of Jared Leto's cult, but like not in a way where I want
Hmm.
you to follow it, in a way where I just go, have you heard about our Lord and Savior Jared Leto?
Yeah. I watched a Mormon horror movie last night. It's got Hugh Grant. Does that make it even wilder?
I I need to know everything.
It's called Heretic. It's not great. It's but I love Hugh
Oh,
Grant. It's on
oh
HBO.
no, I watched the commercial for that.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
Oh,
It
damn,
was
because the
kind of
commercial actually looks
uh,
pretty decent.
I mean, I love Hugh Grant.
I
And
do
it's a little
too.
unsettling because he plays like every character that you know Hugh Grant as is who he plays in this movie. And it's a little
Um,
unsettling in
include
this scenario.
Speaking of Hugh Grant and things that I love about him, Hugh Grant's
Mhm.
character in the Paddington movies,
I forgot he's in
so
those.
he's not in the first one, he's in the second one, and the second one, his character's name is Phoenix Buchanan. I'm not going to spoil any details about what his character is like, but if you've seen Paddington, you know. But then he makes a cameo in the third one. But in the credits, I swear to God, I saw it and I started cackling because Hugh Grant is not credited. In the credits, it says, and Phoenix Buchanan as Phoenix Buchanan.
That's
And
amazing.
I was like, I'm dead. Of course, fucking course. Maybe he also could fall into the category of not surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Speaking of things that don't surprise me, though, Stargate.
Yeah.
Stargate. Today we're talking about Stargate SG-1 Season 7, Episode 10, Birthright. It was rated a whopping 6.9 stars. That was weird. I'm sorry. Which I know I told you it wasn't going to be good,
Yeah.
but then I had to watch it.
Yeah. I did tell MK this, but for the rest of you, I did watch this episode 3 weeks ago and I did not rewatch it. So I'm hanging on for dear life here.
It came out on August 15th, 2003, which was probably the last time before today that I watched it. We have the same top song, which I think was Crazy in Love.
That sounds right.
And the same book, which I think was the Da Vinci Code. But again,
Also sounds right.
I took these notes 3 weeks ago. And the
Mhm.
top movie was Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, what
Um,
year?
2003.
Freddy versus Jason came out in 2003.
Yes.
That feels insane. That doesn't
Right.
feel like real life.
Well, other things that don't feel like real life. On this day, some power was restored after the Northeast blackout of 2003. Now, I wrote this and then spiraled because I very, very vividly remember this summer. Because I was living in North Carolina with my grandparents over the summer, and my parents were at home. And in the summer of 2003, there was a massive power failure with a blackout that went over like 11 states in the
Mhm.
northeast of the country. And like some people got their power back on the next day. My parents did not. Like most of Western New York did not. It was like a solid week in August where they were trying to restore the power for like all of the Northeast of the United States.
That's bonkers.
And it's crazy. And like, luckily, my parents had a cell phone, which was not common then. So they were able to like call us in North Carolina just to like let us know that they were okay. But then,
Yeah.
like, they couldn't waste power on like charging the phone or anything. And granted, cell phone batteries lasted a lot longer back then.
Sure.
And we
Because they
didn't
were
use,
bricks.
and they were bricks, and we didn't use them for anything but actually calling people.
Right.
But like I remember it being like we could only check in with our parents for like 5 minutes a day to see if they had power again yet or not. And then like that was it for like a good 4 days.
Yeah.
Wild.
That is wild.
Also, but when I think about how clearly I remember that summer, you cannot convince me that Freddie and Jason was the same time frame.
No.
Like
You couldn't if you tried. I literally went and looked it up. I was like, maybe she got the date wrong. No, it's 2003.
yeah,
You were
yeah.
right.
Um, the other thing that happened on this day was that Prince Hans Adam the 11th of Liechtenstein announced that he would abdicate the throne for his son.
Good for him.
However, the monarchy of Liechtenstein is probably the most confusing thing I've ever read about because I tried to read about this and I genuinely don't understand because he's still the prince, but so is his like I don't I spiraled and
Mhm.
still don't understand the monarchy of Liechtenstein even a little bit.
They're both princesses. They're a king.
No, there's not a king.
Okay. Okay.
They're, they're also I don't even think they're a monarchy. Like I think they're a
Is there a
monarch.
queen?
No, no.
Okay.
I don't know what their government is. Like, are they like couldn't figure out if they're like a fancy monarchy like England where they don't actually do shit but look pretty, or if they're like
Right.
I if anyone has any information on the politics and government and royal family of Liechtenstein and would like to call into this podcast,
Please call in. Our number
please.
is.
No, email me, text me. Someone explain Liechtenstein to me because I got fucking nothing. Um, but almost as confusing as the episode or as Liechtenstein is why this episode of Stargate was made. Um, it was directed by Peter Wost, edited by Rick Martin, and
Um,
written
it says Liechtenstein is a
constitutional.
constitutional hereditary monarchy, which means that the powers are split between the people and the prince. I do not understand why there are two princes, but that is
Great.
the system. I also don't know how that works, but that
Right, but
is
also
the high level basis of what it
But
is.
also, England is a constitutional monarchy, but the monarch's really just kind of there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, don't tell them that, but like
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Don't listen. Don't listen.
but yeah, so this episode of Stargate was directed by Peter Rose, edited by Rick Martin, and written by Christopher Judge,
Ah,
which is fine.
it
But
makes it
it's
a little weird now that he's like making out with people.
right,
Yeah.
especially when for because the trivia for the only piece of trivia I have for this episode Well, no, I have two pieces of trivia, but the one that I will share before we talk about the episode is that when he wrote this episode, he knew who he wanted to play Ishta. He planned it when he wrote the episode, and that is who played it.
So he had a hall pass, is what you're telling me.
So he basically wrote a fanfic where he could make out with a chick from Star Trek and got to do it.
Right.
Like, that's what just happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that tracks.
So the guest star who played Ishta was Jolene Bullock. She's known for Star Trek Enterprise, Starship Troopers 3, Marauder, and Sex Tape. At 16, she moved to Europe to be a model, but in the 90s, she moved back to the US and started taking acting classes and got into TV. She really hasn't done much more than TV acting. She really, really only is known for Star Trek. But she's married to the CEO of Live Nation. So, like, she could probably do nothing for the rest of her life and be fine.
Can I call her up? I have some things I'd like to speak with her about. I do know a better business model than they're currently using.
Yeah.
And how to support the musicians, which they're currently not doing. So.
Also, can they stop? Can everyone stop using Ticketmaster? Like, when did
that's step one.
Like, when did Live Nation become funneled into Ticketmaster? Right.
Yeah.
Like, they used to be two different things, and now they just funneled and then they just funneled all of their stuff. And but that's the other thing. So I have like my Shays app, and I have a Live Nation app, and I have like another app, and all of them are actually just Ticketmaster. However, you can't. Oh, and the Bills app. If I want to go to a Bills game, I can't open my Ticketmaster app. I open my Bills app. I have to go through the Bills app. But then I'm still paying Ticketmaster.
That's how our Saints one is. Like, whenever I got, like, when we got the tickets to go to the Saints game, it had to be transferred via Ticketmaster because that's where the tickets are. Even though there's a NFL app and a Saints app that I have, and neither of them are worth it.
I say, for all of this shit that we are giving corporations and the big like boycott Amazon thing that is happening right now, despite the fact that it's proven that 60% of sales on Amazon actually go to private sellers, so you're really only kind of hurting the company. What we should be boycotting is fucking Ticketmaster. But the problem then comes back to the fact that if we boycott Ticketmaster, we can't go to shows, and then we boycott the artists. But is Ticketmaster even giving that much money to the artists? No.
So that's the thing. No, they're not. And the artists are making the money from merch sales. They're not making the money from ticket sales. But you have to buy the ticket in order to go buy their merch. So they're losing money regardless of what you do.
But then also, if Ticketmaster is the only one making money, why am I paying $1,400 for a Taylor Swift ticket?
Yeah. Yeah. I think box office tickets are still a thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm reasonably certain that most places you can still go to the box office and get tickets. I do not know how far in advance, and I do not know if they have like a certain number they sell, or if, Ticketmaster owns them all and they have like, specific ones. So
either way, fuck Ticketmaster. So that's the moral of that story. So in this episode, if we just get right into it, because once we get into it, we won't have much left to say.
Right. Correct.
We start the episode with SG-1 ambushing a Jaffa that's walking through the woods, but he's actually a free Jaffa, and he and Teal'c begin talking, and someone else shoots him. SG-1 starts to fire, but then they get aid from the staff weapons, and it all is like this weird hot mess of a battle. And Teal'c calls out to see who it is, and like this Amazonian group of female Jaffa show up out of the mist dramatically, and then we get the credits. The women try to get SG-1 to come with them, but not before they steal the symbiote from the dead Jaffa. They say they knew SG-1 would be there because they have spies, and the team eventually leaves with them. There's also some tension between some of the women on the team, but and they arrive at the planet with the women call liberation. It's Haktil, which means liberation or freedom. They walk toward the settlement and discuss the Amazon myth, which is really just a chance for Jack to say that he is a horny man.
Yeah.
Weirdly, when the Amazonian women first showed up, my Dan was like, oh, well, obviously this is a perfect opportunity for Daniel, which is so funny because Daniel was the least horny of all of the men in this episode.
Truly. It was nothing made sense. This episode was so backwards. Maybe it was like, maybe Christopher Judge was like, I'm writing an alternate universe where me and Jack are off of our rockers and we're having fan fiction makeouts with our favorite Star Trek people. And Daniel is going to seem like super normal and it's going to be good.
Yeah. Because when Jack volunteers himself to be the sperm donor for the new Amazon warrior babies, basically. Um, yeah, so it's all weird. But then they get to the village, and they meet Ishta, who is the um leader, and she explains that they stole the symbiote to give it to one of the young girls who has just hit puberty and officially needs a symbiote to survive.
Mhm.
Um, Ishta tells Sam that Molech, who is the Goa'uld that they technically follow, made a decree that he only wanted male Jaffa to fight in his wars so all the girls would be left to die. But like worse than that, if someone gave birth to a baby girl, they literally just immediately set it on fire.
Just why not? Why not?
And Sam comes up with the most logical concern. Like, obviously, part of Sam is like, that's horrible, those poor babies. But Sam is also like, but logistically, eventually, women are necessary for the reproductive purpose.
Right, right.
Um, then we get a quick scene where Jack is being Jack, and he does not like that the women only want to talk to Sam and don't want to give him any of the information. Um,
Well, because she's the only one being logical and
and
thinking.
not trying to breed with them.
Right, right.
Um, we find out Ishta is a high priestess who goes to help women deliver babies and then steals them before they're killed, and even their parents don't know
Mhm.
where they are or what happened to them. And she's like, okay, well, like, what can we do for you? And she's like, we don't want you to like kill Moloch. We don't want that kind of help. We literally just want food and weapons so that we can keep doing this.
Yeah.
Um, and she's like, we'll give you knowledge. And Sam's like, what if I give you a way to like not need to do that anymore? Um, but the Jaffa like don't really want to give up their symbiotes, so Teal'c has to show them that they're not weaker without them. Teal'c is like, okay, it's my job. I'm the like you guys can say what you want to say, but I'm the one who lived it. So like I have to be the one to explain to them why this is like a better idea.
Right.
So Teal'c goes to talk to Ishta and he explains that their true weakness is their reliance on the Goa'uld. And she's like, and they are having this whole back and forth about their culture and what they know and what they've gone through and everything. And she basically explains to him that for all his talk about progress, he still has like an incredibly sexist view of what women's roles in society are, which he can talk about freedom all he wants, but he will like they won't be free until the male Jaffa also recognize them.
Mhm.
Um, So naturally, the next course of action for the two of them after this conversation is to spar.
You know, when in doubt, fight.
Yeah. But while they're fighting, she realizes that Teal'c himself is on the Tritonin and does not have a symbiote, and she is torn between emotions. She's very angry that he wasn't honest with her. Like, a part of her was like, if you would have just told me that you were also on the Tritonin, we could have had this conversation a lot easier. But another part of her is like, damn, I just lost a fight to someone who doesn't even have a symbiote. Like, maybe they're not all that. Um,
Yeah.
and then the one thing, she takes this thing off the like off of her like Telmarine prayer circle that is the symbol for pride, and she throws it at Teal'c. And I was confused by what that was supposed to symbolize, whether it was saying she was swallowing her pride and accepting his offer, or that she was saying that he didn't shouldn't have pride. Like I what they didn't really make that
Mhm.
very clear.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like that was kind of a common theme in this episode. It just felt like there was a lot of surface level stuff because I mean, we're not going to really deep dive into this group of people, so we don't need to know
Right.
everything.
No,
But
and there was a lot of like symbolism and like both show
Mhm.
centric political conversation and like worldview political conversation, but it was all just not quite deep enough to
Mhm.
impact. And I know that there's only
Right.
so much you can do in one episode, but I wanted it to
So
land.
maybe don't put it all in one episode then.
Right. I wanted it to land harder, and it didn't.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, but whatever the meaning of her throwing her pride at him was, she did agree that they should like convince the women to help them taste the test the drug. So she says she's going to test it out, and she needs four other women to go with her. Um, but Mala and the other commanders like step up and say like, you can't leave your people. Like, you're the leader. You can't abandon your people. We will go. We'll be the test subjects. You stay here and take care of the people. And then only if it's safe do you sacrifice yourself. Like, because if
Which is
something,
true.
which is totally fair. Like,
Yeah.
if some, that's why there's a designated survivor. If something goes wrong, the president isn't the one who like
Right.
tests it.
That's why the prince, there's two of them, and like
That's why
in
Liechtenstein has
case.
two princes,
Yeah.
just in case one of them needs to test a drug.
Yeah.
Um, and the rude one from earlier, I just kept calling her the mean one because took me way too long to remember what her name was. But it's
Yeah.
Neith. So Neith throws a fit and says that the whole thing is wrong and she's not participating in it. Jack and Sam bring the women to Earth for treatment while Teal'c and Daniel stay there to learn more slash teach more with the women in the on Teal. Um, then Ishta asks about Teal'c's wife, and like he explains that I kind of extrapolated from this because this was another place where the symbolism was like just there, and they didn't quite snag it. But he was basically like explaining that she died because she couldn't get another symbiote. And
Yeah.
if the Tritonin had been discovered however many years earlier than they did, his wife wouldn't be dead. Like, if she hadn't been in the position that these women are in right now, she'd still be around. And they just like laid all the pieces on the table and then didn't pick them up.
Mhm. Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
um, um, then this section cuts back and forth a lot, but back on Earth, Janet tells Mala that her symbiote is safe, but it will take some trial and error to figure out exactly what the correct dose of Tritonin for each woman is. So like there's going to be a while before she feels good. Like, she's going to feel sick for a
Right.
little bit. Um, we go back to Ishta and Teal'c, who still are talking about Drayak and how Teal'c still loves her, but they're like kind of like holding hands in a flower field for no reason.
Yeah.
Then we go back to Mala, who asks Sam about her relationship with Jack.
Because it's obvious. Everyone sees it.
She's like, you have a special relationship with the Colonel. And Sam's like, yeah. And she's like, I hope I have something like that one day. And Sam's like, oh, like, no, that's not. And she goes, what? And she's like, you don't have like mutual respect for each other. And Sam's like, well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's one of those moments where if it was me, if I was Sam, I'd just be like, to be honest, I don't know what the fuck we have. Like,
I mean, there's mutual respect for
there's
sure.
for sure respect. In what way? I'm not even 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Ishta tells her backstory that she was married to a high-ranking officer, and he died in battle. And then we learned that Mala loved a man who was very low ranking, and she was a priestess, so they were forbidden to get married. And when they found out that she was pregnant, he was killed, and then she gave birth, and it was a daughter, and so the daughter was killed as well. So like everybody's life is tragic.
Right.
Sam seems like the most well-adjusted of the four people in question, which is really interesting based on the number of people that Sam has loved who are dead.
Right. Right. Yeah, she's had a pretty rough go at it.
And she is the only
So,
one whose life is not like really upsetting.
yeah. And she did
Also,
almost lose a semi-child with Cassandra.
yeah. Also, I just like realized every single like Jack is the only one who literally didn't have someone that he loves, like romantically loves.
Yeah.
I. And his is almost even worse because she's still alive and the death of their child was too tragic for them to love each other anymore. Like
Yeah. I mean,
Dreyak
he
is
had his like 100-year, 100-day, what was it? Whatever
oh that
that
like
lady, which
yeah.
like she might, I don't know if she's alive, but he can't like be with her
Right.
either.
Like, but like, so Sarah is still alive, but too broken to still be with Jack.
Hmm.
And then there's like, yeah, the lady that he fell in love with in the 100 days thing that he will never be able to see again. But
Right.
then Drayak and the other chick that Teal'c loved that wasn't his arranged marriage, both fucking dead. Uh,
Yeah.
Sharae, dead. The other Sarah, blonde Sarah, not even a real person anymore now. She's a Goa'uld with no help for life.
Right.
Um, Martouf, dead.
Well,
The one
the
walk
alien
through the
guy.
one alien guy who walks through walls, dead. The other
Hmm.
alien guy who stalked Sam, never gonna see him again. Like
Yeah.
these people have the most tragic love
Look.
stories of all time, and this show is
Mhm.
not about love.
It is not. Yeah. Yeah. It
Um,
makes me really like rethink my life and be
you're
like,
like,
maybe things are all right.
maybe things are better that you're alone.
Maybe things are.
I
Yeah.
mean, this morning Dan woke up with a runny nose because it was 70 degrees yesterday and it was 20 degrees today because I fucking love the spring.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's something so, so upsetting about loving someone so much that you would die if they weren't around, and also genuinely looking at them and thinking, if I never fucking saw you again, I would be happier than I have ever been in my entire life. Every time he tried to like inhale with his nasty runny nose this morning, I was like, get the fuck out of my bed. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Just leave. Um, and I went to work and I was in a bad mood and I told Kate about it and she goes, yeah, no, every time Chris is sick, I go, why are we married? And I was like, okay, good. It's not just me. Thank God.
Yeah.
Um, Daniel, who is the only person not worried about romance this episode, is checking in
Shocking.
on Nisa, the little girl who is next in line for a symbiote. And she's not allowed to talk to him. But then they have this
Right.
really cute conversation where she asks what his glasses are and he explains them. And, all these people who have perfect immune systems would never need glasses. And so, like, it's just funny. And he tells her that like she can still be a warrior even without a symbiote. Like it'll be okay. Um, and then my next note says Ishta tries to seduce Teal'c. She did not try. She did.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, I know you still love your wife, but you can stay the night with me. It'll be okay. That's not the
That's not a
way.
thing you say to
That's
someone.
not a way I would go about it. Although that's not the first time that someone has said that because didn't what's her name? Didn't the one uh
Someone who decided they like Daniel and
yeah,
you and them. Yeah.
the one lady who the Togra liked Jack, but the real girl liked Daniel
Oh,
or
yeah, yeah,
whatever, and
yeah.
she was like, I know you're sad and your wife just died, but we can make out. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not weird at all.
Not weird. Um Then Mala is not healthy, even though the other women are all doing well on the Tritonin. So something's going on with her. The other four all seem to be fine. They all have stabilized, but they cannot get her dosage right. Um,
Mhm.
and then we cut to Daniel, who is ambushed and asleep by the angry one. Is what I wrote. Um, and she tells him that she basically admits that in order to save Nisa, her sister, she killed her own father because he was going to give up their entire operation to Moloch. And so she's like not afraid to kill just a random man to protect her sister. Um, which like
Yeah.
she terrifies me a little bit.
Yeah, she's a little bit
Like
scary. But like for
I
good reason. But like,
I understand her heart.
yeah.
I'm terrified.
Mhm.
Um, Mala is getting worse, even though everyone else is okay, and they want to put her symbiote back, and she freaks out and is like, putting my symbiote back inside of me is just a death sentence. I would rather die. Do not, like, let me die, if that's what this means."
Yeah.
Um, then we find out that Neith, which I again just wrote the mean one, wants to challenge Ishta. She's like, this woman is not leading us well anymore. I'm gonna use the right of, I wrote what it was called. Joe. What? Jomaseku. And I was like, we've heard that term before. I just so Jomaseku to take over like leadership of the Jaffa. Um, and as she's trying to rally support behind her, one of the other girls is like, yo, there's something wrong with your sister. Like, let's not do this right now. Um, Eventually Mala gets so bad that they do put the symbiote back in her, but it doesn't help. She flatlines. Um, the two teams are checking in on each other and filling them in on the missing pieces when Ishta defeats Neith from in her Jomaseku and is ready to like kill her for questioning Ishta's leadership. And then Daniel's like, hey, I really hate to do this as I know my timing could probably not get worse. But Mala is dead. Which of course Ishta gets big mad and like changes her mind about the Dritonin and freaks out and says that she wants all of her people back, and locks Daniel and Teal'c up.
Mhm.
But then Nisa is really sick and she calls for Daniel and Teal'c and says she does not want a symbiote. She believes them and she understands why they do it, but she doesn't want anybody else to die. And so she um tells them where her sister went to get the symbiote. Um, and on the planet where Isha and Neith are getting the symbiote, they're like, kill a bunch of Jaffa in this battle. But then as they try to take it from him, he says the like for saying that all the rebel Jaffa say. And so Ishta like starts to have a like crisis of conscience and is like freaking out and crying. And then one of the other Jaffa shoot Neith. So now she's like, what the? But then Teal'c and Daniel arrive. They bring Isha and they Teal'c uses his big, strong arms and sad eyes to make Ishta put down her knife and cry instead of killing another Jaffa. Um, and they bring Ishta and Neith to Earth, where they have to give Neith Tritonin to survive because her symbiote is also dying. And Neith is refusing, but then Daniel brings Nisa in, and Nisa begs her to change her mind. The ladies all get their drugs and head home, but don't worry, the episode ends on an unnecessarily long makeout scene between Teal'c and Ishta.
Yep.
However, the good news is, I won't tell you to what extent or anything, but we will see Ishta again.
Oh.
Which is I only know that I do vaguely remember it, but I was joking with Dan when the episode ended and I go, and then we will never see her again. And then I like pulled up IMDb and go, that's not true. But it seems like something that would happen.
It does. It does. You said that and I was like, yeah, obviously we're never going to see them again.
Obviously we're never going to see her again. I don't remember anything else of the story. To be very fair, there's a lot of the last 3 seasons of SG-1 that I don't remember.
8, 9, 10.
Yeah, like the 8, 9, 10, I genuinely, because I was so young when I watched them and then I didn't rewatch them, I don't remember them as well. Because like the early seasons I rewatched because I was too young when they came out.
Mm-hmm.
But the later seasons, I really only watched that first time. And so I don't remember them. My only piece of trivia is, like I said, Teal'c wanted Jolene Blaylock to like play this part. He wrote it for her. And so like one day in the makeup chair while they were getting ready, because they both had to get their Jaffa stuff on, he was like asking her how she was doing. And she was like, honestly, like, I'm really nervous. Like, I don't remember a lot of my lines. Like, I'm really stressed out. And he like accidentally bullied her. Because he was like, I wrote this part for you. I can't believe you wouldn't put the effort into like learn your lines. Like as a joke. And she like laughed and cried.
Oh no.
And he had to be like, I am so sorry. I really like I was a joke. Like I want to work with you. Like I don't and so that's just my favorite thing is that Christopher Judge has the same sense of humor that I do, and which I know because like when I met him and we talked, like he's genuinely just like the most obnoxiously dry, funny person, and just the idea of him like really, really being excited about working with someone and then accidentally bullying them into thinking that he hated them is so on brand, so on brand. So yeah, that is this episode. What are your have any thoughts, theories, questions, concerns?
Not really. There wasn't. I feel like I mean, I know you've just told me that we'll see Ishta again.
Yeah.
But I feel like aside from that this group of people are not going to be important in the future. So I feel like this was a very one-off episode. Like I feel like this was just an episode to be like, we need to give the Triptonin to people to make everything better. So here we're going to show you that we can do that.
And it's like, so Braytak and Teal'c have the Tritonin.
Right.
And there's kind of, again, with that accidental sexism issue, there's kind of the idea like, well, these women are already in hiding. They're good test subjects.
Yeah.
But it does work. So it does start to spread. So I wonder, it really feels like that's just like the only long-term effect of this episode is that the Tritonin has now like made its way off base, basically.
Yeah, that is exactly how I feel. Like there's nothing else matters. Like I don't think that like Ishta and Teal'c are gonna end up together. Like it's not like I just don't feel like there are consequences from this episode.
Right. And like I said, the problem is it wasn't even like there aren't a lot of future consequences and there isn't even like a huge long-term like or a huge like standalone like resonation because like I said, they were inches from really intense, powerful, like political messaging and just like didn't quite follow it. Like,
Yeah.
so
And it also didn't like have a lot of high like suspense or intense moments because like sorry, there's a weird sound outside. Because there were like no like real high stakes. Like, yeah, technically the tryptonin was a high stake, but like we knew it works. And like,
right.
yeah, someone died, but like also that kind of happens sometimes. People react differently to medications.
Right. And like Janet said, an 80% success rate on a first run of a trial drug is like not
It's
something to
bonkers.
like not something to
Yeah.
shake your head at.
And like it felt like the whole episode was just kind of like a little like cat fight or something. It was like no real high stakes. Everyone was just kind of arguing with each other. And it just, I don't know, it didn't feel necessary.
That's totally fair. Um, Next week's episode is
Mhm.
better.
Hey, I like that.
It is also part one of a two-parter. But
What episode was this? 10?
this time, but
We're mid-season.
it's also the mid-season finale.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
it's a part one of a two-parter with a for sure cliffhanger because it they took a break from August to January.
Ooh, they took like
So
a real
they
break.
took like a for sure break. So be interesting.
Love it.
But I will say this episode or this season in general has been pretty
Underwhelming.
it has, but it's been pretty Jaffa heavy in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
where the heart of the story is, and that is still true next week. So it is still a Jaffa centric episode. So
I
that
hope that means
is
we get to see Braytac.
you'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so with that, who do you want to punch?
I think I want to punch Neath. Neath, that was her name.
Neith, yeah.
Neath, okay. I keep trying to combine her and Nisa. They are not the same, and I like Nisa. But and it's not really like no one was really like terrible this episode, but she just like really kept putting a kink in people's plans and like didn't have any type of like give ever. And like
Yeah.
I get it because she's been through a lot, but like still.
Yeah. No, Neith is the correct answer because she's the antagonist of the episode. Again,
Mhm.
not a high stakes antagonist, but still
Right.
the antagonist. But because you picked Neith, I'm gonna pick someone who was really not at all a negative piece of the episode. They were just a very small piece of the episode, and everything that they said was somehow uncomfortable. And that is Jack.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
because while I love Jack and I would volunteer to have babies with him.
Mhm, mhm.
He said like four lines in the whole episode and they were all uncomfortably
Yeah.
sexist. Like
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
so that's not great.
Not quite right. Yeah.
Who is your MVP?
I think I'm gonna go with Ishta. I don't love the seduction of Tilk, but I do like her as a leader. I do feel like she's done the best for people. And even though like this seemed a little like off the wall and out of bounds, she was like, we need to at least examine it. We're not all jumping in head first, but like we need to at least examine it and see like
Yeah.
there's something because if it's beneficial, it's gonna be great for us. So
Yeah.
like she is a good leader in that sense. So
That's true. I think I'm a little torn actually on mine. I but both kind of for the same reasons. So like
mhm.
the two I'm torn between are Nisa and Mala. And it's both kind of for the same thing of like wanting what's right even when it's uncomfortable and like doing the right thing
Mhm.
and like being um sacrificing themselves for the greater good kind of situation. But I think because it was a more permanent impact, I'm gonna go with Mala.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about picking her too.
Because she didn't have to step up. She was second in command. If Ishta went, she could have just stayed and ruled and then she'd be fine.
Mhm.
But she knew that not only was it the right thing to try to get rid of the symbiotes, it was also the right thing to not let her people suffer by losing Ishta.
Yeah,
And I think that that is pretty solid.
I think so.
Yeah. So sorry that this episode is kind of disjointed. We are a hot
We forgot
mess.
how to podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy. But with that, if you have advice for us on how to be better at our jobs, or if you really want to talk about Liechtenstein, you can always email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com or follow us on any social media at Death and Aliens. You can follow me personally at ENKAY_superstar.
And you can find me at CE Cloud 13.
And we will see you on Thursday for a lovely episode of Thriller Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.